We're here on the Sleepers YouTube channel previewing the big game this weekend with Arizona and Wisconsin. But as you can tell, I am not Greg. That is not Carter. I am Brian Rauf. That's Connor Hope, both of Heat Check CBB here to break down this game. And you could argue it's the game of the weekend. I think Arizona, the number one team in the country now. Wisconsin is on a roll here, Connor. The last couple of games that they've won, including the big one over Marquette. Going into this game, Arizona's the favorite. How real is the chance that Wisconsin knocks them off?
I mean, after what we saw last weekend, you can't discount Wisconsin. And I think what they did to beat Marquette shows that they can beat a top 5 team in the country. The fact that this is on the road against a team that is the best rebounding team in the country doesn't bode well for a Wisconsin team that relies on rebounding to win games. Mm-hmm. So real, yes. Any high likelihood for a road underdog? Probably not.
I think I'm with you. Like, Wisconsin has outplayed expectations to this point for me, particularly after that Providence loss, right? I think AJ Storr has been phenomenal. Tyler Wall, Chucky Hepburn, you've kind of known what you're going to get out of those guys. Steven Crowell has been huge for them, and when they've won games, he's had big games. He's been their X factor for me, and I have a bit about him in the most recent Rauf report that's up on heatcheckcbb.com, which I highly recommend you go check out. He's kind of been the key for them, and I think he's obviously key for them in this game. His ability to stretch the floor, be the traditional big guy who, again, can space the floor. A lot of them play two bigs with him and Wall down there. I think that's important for Wisconsin, particularly in Big Ten play. But you're going against an Arizona team that is big itself. And there's a big contrast of styles here with the way Wisconsin wants to play and the way Arizona wants to get up and down the court, to where I wonder if you can play too big like Wisconsin does as efficiently as you're going to have to beat a team as good as Arizona. Because Arizona, to me, they're the best team in the country right now. I was in the building when they beat Duke, and to me, they looked like that. They have a like opponent, Michigan State, and I know Wisconsin beat Michigan State by more than Arizona did. But to me, I don't know where the weakness is with this Arizona team.
I'm not necessarily quite at Arizona is the best team in the country. They're one of them. I don't know if I would point to one team as the best team in the country. Arizona has a clear weakness. You turn them over. That's their weakness. You end possessions before they can shoot, before they can rebound. Mm-hmm. Wisconsin is not a team. They turn teams over at a decent rate, but they don't steal the ball a ton. And I feel like for Wisconsin to win this game, they're going to have to get a lot of steals. They're going to have to get out, pick and choose when they get out into transition. I know they're not a fast team by any stretch of the imagination, but you really don't want to wait for guys like Umar Ballo and Keisha Johnson to get down the floor on defense. So you're going to want to beat them down the floor. So is the 358th ranked offense in the country in terms of tempo going to get out in transition? Probably not. This is a Wisconsin team that has scored over 80 points in a game once this season. And that was against Arkansas State in the opener. Obviously, Arizona State has hit that 80-point mark in all games but 2. Their win against Michigan State, they had 74. Their win against Duke, they had 78. And so to me, Wisconsin, it's about limiting shots. And I don't think you're going to do it on the boards. I think you're going to do it on the perimeter and try and get guys like Caleb Love. Keisha Johnson has turned the ball over quite a bit this year. Kylan Boswell, obviously, to turn the ball over. And I just don't know if Wisconsin can do that for 40 minutes. That's not their style of defense. That's not the way they play. And that, to me, is the only way you beat Arizona.
Yeah, like Wisconsin is a team that I think is the ultimate, or one of the ultimate examples of team over individual, right? I think you go down the lineup, and you're going to take a handful of guys in Arizona just from a talent standpoint before you get to anybody on Wisconsin. But Wisconsin has beaten teams because of their structure and the way they play together and their system under Greg Gard. Arizona's got their own system that works really well, and they're not, a bunch of individual guys out there. They've had this success under Tommy Lloyd for a reason. So I don't think this is a game. This is a game where Wisconsin's individual flaws will stick out more. I don't know if they have the athleticism to keep up with Arizona. I don't think they can, again, play at this pace for this long. They struggled with Providence in that regard. So I'm interested to see how this goes. I think there's some blowout potential here. I'm not saying that it's going to be a blowout. I think Arizona will win somewhat comfortably to get into prediction time. But how do you look at this game? How do you see it playing out?
Yeah, I think the benefit to Arizona, because this could have been Wisconsin's too good for it to be a trap game, but this kicks off a stretch for Arizona where it's home against Wisconsin, at Purdue and Indianapolis, semi-home against Alabama, and then a neutral game against FAU to end non-con. But there is a week between Wisconsin and the rest of those games. So there's no looking past. You have 6 days to prepare for Purdue. Mm-hmm. There's no looking past, which I think if it was like a Thursday, Saturday situation, you might go, they're not looking past Wisconsin, but they might not take Wisconsin as seriously as possible. This is a Wisconsin team that hasn't given up more than 70 points in any game since that Providence loss. But it's a pretty big layoff. Yeah. And Tommy Lloyd is a great coach. This is a team that has players that have been there before. I don't know if I would go blowout, because I don't think Wisconsin turns the ball over on their end enough for them to get enough possessions to be a true blowout for Arizona. But if they do, if Arizona can make life hell for Chucky Hepburn and the guards of this Wisconsin team, yeah, it could be a 15-point win for Arizona. I'm thinking more in those high single digits to maybe 10 points. Just because while Arizona has a really high tempo, I think Wisconsin is good enough in the backcourt to maintain a middle of the road tempo in this game.
Absolutely. Make sure you check out previews for this game and all the other big games of the weekend on the Sleepers Media YouTube channel. Make sure you follow Sleepers on all your social media channels. Make sure you follow Heat Check CBB and all your social media channels. Excuse me. Can't talk. Too excited to wrap this up. Too excited to watch the games this weekend. Make sure you come back as we recap all those big games as well.